everyone, this is Gamer, and welcome back to the 39 Steps. Let's continue where we last off. Shall we? Ooh, creepy eyes, desperate measures, in the jaws of the enemy. Hannay's fate appears sealed. The clock is ticking against Hannay and Great Britain. Desperate measures. Friday, 29th May, 1914. Blackstone HQ, Scotland. Ooh, Blackstone HQ, huh? The whole place smelled of mold and disuse. The old boy had gone off in a motor to collect the two ruffians who had interviewed me yesterday. Now they had seen me as the roadman, and they would remember me, for I was in the same rig. What was a roadman doing 20 miles from his beat, pursued by the police? A question or two would put them on the track. Probably they had seen Mr. Turnbull, probably Marmee too. Most likely they could link me up with Sir Harry, and then the whole thing would be crystal clear. The more I thought of it, the angrier I grew, and I had to get up and move about the room. Enemy storeroom. There's one thing in here that looks important. This? I couldn't open the boxes. I found a handle in the wall which seemed worth investigating. Ooh, what's this? Okay. 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 I think I got everything. What? That is up. It was lentonite, a powerful explosive I knew from my time as a mining engineer. But I had forgotten the proper charge and the right way of preparing it, and I wasn't sure about the timing. I had only a vague notion, too, as to its power, for though I had used it, I had not handled it with my own fingers. But it was a chance, the only possible chance. The remembrance of little Scudder decided me. Great explosive. Place. It was about the beastiest moment of my life, for I'm no good at these cold-blooded resolutions. Whoa, look at the way that the captions are tilted there. That's weird. Still, I managed to rake up the pluck to set my teeth and choke back the horrid doubts that flooded in on me. I simply shut off my mind and pretended I was doing an experiment as simple as Guy Fawkes fireworks. Run, dude, run. My stupor can scarcely have lasted beyond a few seconds. I stepped over the broken lintel and found myself standing in a yard in a dense and acrid fog. I felt very sick and ill, but I could move my limbs, and I staggered blindly forward away from the house. A small mill lathe ran in a wooden aqueduct at the other side of the yard. I fell into this. The cool water revived me, and I had just enough wits left to think of escape. I squirmed up the lade among the slippery green slime till I reached the mill wheel. Then I wiggled through the axle hole onto the old mill and tumbled onto a bed of chaff. A nail caught the seat of my trousers, and I had left a whiff of heather mixture behind me. Nausea shook me, and a wheel in my head kept turning while my left shoulder and arm seemed to be stricken with the palsy. I crawled down the broken ladder, scattering chaff behind me to cover my footsteps. I did the same on the mill floor and on the threshold where the door hung on broken hinges. I slipped across the space, got to the back of the dovecot, and prospected a way of ascent. By the use of out-jutting stones, gapes in the masonry, and a tough ivory root, I got to the top. I found space to lie down. Then I proceeded to go off into an old-fashioned swoon. That was short. Yeah, let's do the next one. Downward spiral. Damaged and intoxicated, Hannay escapes the clutches of the Blackstone, but they know he is nearby. Downward spiral. Saturday, 30th May, 1914, Blackstone H headquarters, Scotland. I woke with a burning head and the sun glaring in my face. For a long time I lay motionless, for those horrible fumes seemed to have loosened my joints and dulled my brain. There was a little gap in the parapet to which I wriggled, and from which I had some sort of prospect of the yard. I saw figures come out, a servant with his head bound up, and then a younger man in knickerbockers. I saw the rotund figure of my late captor, and I thought I made out the man with the lips. I noticed that all had pistols. They were looking for something and moved towards the mill. For half an hour they ransacked the mill. Then they came outside and stood just below the dovecot arguing fiercely. I heard them fiddling with the door of the dovecot, and for one horrid moment I fancied they were coming up. Then they thought better of it and went back to the house. All that long, blistering afternoon, I lay baking on the rooftop. Thirst was my chief torment. My tongue was like a stick. I watched the course of the little stream as it came in from the moor. I would have given £1,000 to plunge my face into that. I saw the car speed away with 2 occupants and a man on a hill pony riding east. I wished them joy of their quest. If that aeroplane came back, the chances were 10 to 1 that I would be discovered. So through the afternoon I lay and prayed for the coming of darkness. On the dovecot. Escape. It seemed to me that the sooner I got in touch with the Foreign Office man, Sir Walter Boulevard, the better. He must just take or leave my story, and anyway, with him I would be in better hands than those devilish Germans. I had begun to feel quite kindly towards the British police. My plan was to seek Mr. Turnbull's cottage, recover my garments, and especially Scudder's notebook. Oh god, I left the notebook there? Crap. Then make for the main line and get back to the south. Health. My shoulder was in a bad way. At first I thought it was only a bruise, but it seemed to be swelling, and I had no use of my left arm. I had a crushing headache and felt as sick as a cat. Those lentonite fumes had fairly poisoned me, and the baking arrows on the dovecot hadn't helped matters. Appearance. I had neither coat, waistcoat, collar, nor hat. My trousers were badly torn, and my face and hands were black with the explosion. I dare say I had other beauties, for my eyes felt as if they were furiously bloodshot. Alrighty. Sorry about that. I had to take a drink of water. I've been talking a lot. Thank God it was a black night. My thirst was too great to allow me to tarry, so about 9 o'clock, so far as I could judge, I started to descend. Halfway down, I heard the back door of the house open and saw the gleam of a lantern against the mill wall. For some agonizing minutes, I hung by the ivy and prayed that whoever it was would not come round by the dovecot. Then the light disappeared and I dropped as softly as I could onto the hard soil of the yard. I crawled on my belly in the lee of a stone dike till I reached the fringe of trees which surrounded the house. I was in a pretty bad way. Ten minutes later, my face was in the spring, and I was soaking down pints of the blessed water. But I did not stop till I had put half a dozen miles between me and that accursed dwelling. Pretty moon. I sat down and took stock of my position. Sir Harry's map had given me the lie of the land. All I had to do was to steer a point or two west of southwest to come to the stream where I had met the roadman. I calculated I must be about 18 miles distant, and that meant I could not get there before morning. It's gonna be a long walk or run. Oh. Bah. Bah. Very soon after daybreak, I made an attempt to clean myself in a hill burn, and then approach a herd's cottage, for I was feeling the need of food.
What in the name of... What's happened to you?
Forgive me. I've taken a pretty bad fall.
Come in. Come in.
The herd's wife. The Samaritan. Like a true Samaritan, she asked no questions, but gave me a bowl of milk with a dash of whiskey in it and let me sit for a little by her kitchen fire. She would have bathed my shoulder, but it ached so badly that I would not let her touch it. Oh, that means she's a really good person. Or she's nice. First impressions. She was a decent old body, and a plucky one, for though she got a fright when she saw me, she had an axe handy, and would have used it on any evildoer. I don't know what she took me for. A repentant burglar, perhaps. She showed me how to wrap the plaid around my shoulders, and when I left that cottage, I was the living image of the kind of Scotsman you see in the illustrations to Burns' poems.
Please, take this as payment for your hospitality.
No. Keep your siller. No. Give it to them at here richt it. Oh, richt then if you insist. Tak my plaid and, this old hat that belonged to my man.
I passed over the miseries of that night among the wet hills. Twice I lost my way, and I had some nasty falls into peat bogs. I had only about 10 miles to go as the crow flies, but my mistakes made it nearer 20. This last bit was completed with set teeth and a very light and dizzy head. But I managed it, and in the early dawn, I was knocking at Mr. Turnbull's door.
Where are ye that come stravaiging here in the Sabbath morning?
My head was swimming so wildly that I could not frame a coherent answer, but he recognized me.
Ah. Aye, have you got my specs?
I fetched them out of my trouser pocket.
You'll have come for your jacket and waistcoat. Come on, boy. Losh, man, you're terrible down to the legs. Hold up till I get you to a chair.
I had a good deal of fever in my bones, and the wet night had brought it out, while my shoulder and the effects of the fumes combined to make me feel pretty bad. I perceived I was in for a bout of malaria. Before I knew it, Mr. Turnbull was helping me off with my clothes and putting me to bed in one of the two cupboards that lined the kitchen walls. He was a true friend in need, that old road man. Aw, see, he was a cool guy. Alright, so far we've done Desperate Measures and Downward Spiral. Dry Fly Fisherman. Turnbull's nursing brings Hannay back to fighting fitness, but time is running out as June 15 draws near. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do one more and then I'll stop the video. Dry Fly Fisherman. Thursday, 11, June 1914, Turnbull's Cottage, Scotland. When my skin was cool again, I found that the bout had more or less cured my shoulder. But it was a baddish go, and though I was out of bed in 5 days, it took me some time to get my legs again. Turnbull went out each morning, leaving me milk for the day, and locking the door behind him, and came in the evening to sit silent in the chimney corner. Not a soul came near the place, and he never bothered me with a question. He never even sought my name. Oh, he never asked my name. Wow. Really is a kind guy. Anything... Alright, so there's two things we need to look for in here. Alright, the newspaper. The Scotsman. the Scotsman, 5th of June, 1914. Letter in reply to birthday congratulations, Buckingham Palace. I have received many thousand letters from children who have sent me good wishes for my birthday. Their greetings have given me great pleasure, and I thank them from my heart. I trust that as their own birthdays come round, they may be blessed with as much happiness as they wish for me today. George R.I., June 3rd, 1914. No further trace of the aviator. A report circulated yesterday that Mr. Gustav Hamel, the missing airman, had been rescued at sea and landed at South Shields is unfortunately not correct. Oh. So the pilot disappeared. Weird. Okay, there's one more we need to look for around here. One more thing. Is it the seat? One day he produced my belt from a lockfast drawer.
Here's your belt. There's a terrible heap of siller in it. You better count it to see it's a there.
Thank you, but I'm sure there's no need. By the way, could you tell me, has anyone been inquiring after me?
Aye, there was a man in a motor car. He speered what I'd ta'en my place that day, and I let on I thought him daft. But he keep it on at me, and saying I said he mun be thinking of my good brother for the clich that whiles leaned me a horn. He was a worse looking soul, and I couldn't understand the half of his English tongue.
Alright, so that's everything? Yes. I was getting restless those last days, and as soon as I felt myself, I decided to be off. Aw, I'm not going to say goodbye to the dude. I mean, he helped me out a lot. As luck would have it, a drover went past that morning taking some cattle to Moffat. He was a man named Hipslop, a friend of Turnbull's, and he came in to his breakfast with us and offered to take me with him. I made Turnbull accept £5 for my lodging and a hard job I had of it. There never was a more independent being. Yeah, I like Turnbull. Turnbull's a cool character. I like him. When I told Turnbull how much I owed him, he grunted something about one good turn deserving another. You would have thought from our leave taking that we have parted in disgust. Driving cattle is a mortally slow job, and we took the better part of the day to cover a dozen miles. A cheery soul, the journey. I have no mind for the summer, and little for Hipslop's conversation, for as the fateful 15th of June drew near, I was overwhelmed with the hopeless difficulties of my enterprise. If I had not had such an anxious heart, I would have enjoyed that time. Oh. You can't let that, well, it is disturbing to think about what's going to happen on that date, but still, you can't let that get over you. The drover. Hipslop was a cheery soul who chattered all the way over the pass and down the sunny vale of Anon. I talked of Galloway markets and sheep prices, and Hipslop made up his mind I was a peck shepherd from those parts, whatever that may be. At Moffat, I got some dinner in a humble public house, then walked the 2 miles to the junction of the main line. The night express for the south was not due till near midnight. However, so to fill up the time, I went up on the hillside and fell asleep, for the walk had me tired. I all but slept too long and had to run to the station and catch the train with 2 minutes to spare. So where are we going now? Don't tell me we're going back to England. Oh no, we're going back to London? Are you serious? Oh no, good. We're not going to London. About 6 o'clock in the evening, a wary and travel-stained being with a checkered black and white flag over his arm descended at the little station of Archenswell. There were several people on the platform, and I thought I had better wait to ask my way till I was clear of the place. Onwards. I came to a bridge and fell to whistling. A fisherman had come up from the waterside. He leaned his delicate 10-foot split cane rod against the bridge and looked with me at the water.
Clear, isn't it? I back our Kennet any day against the test. Look at that big fellow. 4 pounds if it's an ounce. But the evening rise is over and you can't tempt him.
I don't see him.
Look, there. A yard from the reeds, just above that stickle.
Ah, I've got him now. You might swear he was a Blackstone.
So. Twisden's the name, isn't it?
No? I mean to say, yes.
I had forgotten all about my alias. Come on, Hannay, you should have... Oh, great, now you screwed it up.
It's a wise conspirator that knows his own name.
I stood up and looked at him, at the square, left jaw and broad, lined brow and the firm folds of cheek, and began to think that here at last was an ally worth having. Ah, Sir Walter. Suddenly he frowned.
I call it disgraceful. Disgraceful that an able-bodied man like you should dare to beg. You can get a meal from my kitchen, but you'll get no money from me.
Evening, Sir Walter.
That's my house. Wait 5 minutes and then go round to the back door.
And with that he left me. Wow, it's a pretty house. At the back door, a grave butler was awaiting me.
Come this way, sir.
He led me along a passage and up a back staircase to a pleasant bedroom looking towards the river.
Sir Walter thought as how Mr. Reggie's things would fit you, sir. He keeps some clothes here, for he comes regular on the weekends. There's a bathroom next door, and I've prepared hot bath. Dinner in half an hour, sir. You'll hear the gong.
The grave being withdrew, and I sat down in a chist-covered easy chair and gaped. It was like a pantomime to come suddenly out of beggardom into this orderly comfort. Obviously, Sir Walter believed in me, though why he did I could not guess. I resolved not to puzzle my head, but to take the gifts the gods had provided. I shaved and bathed luxuriously, and got into the dress clothes and clean crackling shirt, which fitted me not so badly. By the time I had finished, the looking glass showed a not unpersonable young man. What's the next one? Oh god, those eyes are still there. That's weird. Grave news. Sir Walter Bullivant takes Hannay at his word, but fears Scudder's finding may have been a little off track. Alright guys, I'm going to end my video here. If you like these series of videos, please give this video a like, comment on this video on highlighted games so far, subscribe to the channel to see more game videos like these. Alright, this has been Gamer. Peace out, and I'll definitely see you on the next episode of the 39 Steps. Bye everyone.